Hi, welcome back to CP Life Unfiltered. I'm Shannon, and today we will be talking about mental health. And just as a reminder, this podcast is not for children's ears. So if you have children in your presence, please remove them from the room, or if you don't want to remove them from the room, I advise you to watch this later. Thank you. My mental health journey started when I was in seventh grade. I didn't like my body. I was starting to gain an excessive amount of weight. I was in pain all the time. I didn't want to do anything. I just was very down about myself. I criticized myself an awful lot. Years went on. Um, in the process of dealing with mental health, I was kicked off my special needs cheerleading team that I was on since 2006. So I really think that had a lot to do with my mental health. You have a question?
I haven't had kind of talking point for you.
Go ahead.
I'm her, her in the episode, so I'll be like interrupting from here, interrupting, but basically, if you don't mind knowing, um, I heard things about happening here, here meeting, and I'm coming out of point of view. I'm hearing to hear your opinion on if things like happening here meeting or body for a member. Does that hurt or help someone with a disability? Because in my opinion, it's kind of the both because people people I'm talking about the non-disabled individuals do it for sometimes do it for a resume or for our application making the relationship in those kinds of situations very toxic because I feel like a lot of them disappear after the quote unquote contract Oh,
For me, I really think cheerleading helped me blossom into the person that I am. Uh, my entire life, I knew I wanted to be a cheerleader. I knew I wanted to be a cheerleader, but I knew I couldn't cheer the typical way for school because I can't do what a typical cheerleader does. So
right.
when I found out that there was a special needs cheer gym opening, I asked my mom, "Can we go to the meeting?" And we went to the meeting, and then that following week was the first practice, and I absolutely loved it. I told mom I want to go again, and I done it, did and I did it from 2007 to 2015, and I absolutely loved it. And at the time when I got removed, was I depressed? Absolutely, because that was my reason to get up every morning. Even that was my reason to get up, get dressed, get motivated, to get out the door.
Yeah. Mhm. And what this year meeting in like were you paired up with able-bodied people or how
Yes.
did it yeah.
Um, the cheer gym I was at a normal cheer gym with able-bodied people, and the 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 disabled cheer team was paired up with able-bodied cheerleaders to help them in the cheerleading competition.
Mhm.
So I had so I think that is another way. I think that's another reason why it made me blossom so much is because other I got to interact with able-bodied people
Mhm.
that
Eh,
had the same passion as me.
awesome. Okay, continue. I'm for that time. Because I had an experience with things my program develop development that but we can make another podcast about that.
No problem. Good question. So the years went on. I got over not being on the cheer team. Um, I was really sick. My physical health was declining, and I had to have a lot of hospital stays. My mind wasn't in the brightest position. Um, I thank 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 goodness this is called CP Life Unfiltered because I would not be here today if I did not get the right medication. I wanted to take my own life. And when I told my mom I wanted to take my own life, she we had the basement door took off our basement. Just I don't know why. But when I told my parents that I wanted to take my own life, and they said, "No, this is not. No, no, this is not happening. I know you're disappointed." And so they put the basement door back on. But really, what caused my mental health to be so bad is because I was on a medication for my menstrual cycles, and the side effect was suicide.
Hmm.
And and by the grace of God, I have mental health challenges? Yes, and that is why I'm seeking a therapist. But by the grace of God, I'm off that medicine and I'm no longer suicidal.
Awesome. I'm so happy you are here, Shannon, and I'm happy that anyone else listening to this podcast, if you are suicidal or anything like that, please moment help. Because you deserve to be here. Um, and yeah. I'm going to make we put it down in the description here, so that you can get the help you need. Um, but you mentioned a little bit about hospital stay and what that did to your mental health. Um, would you mind sharing some tips for healthcare professionals listening to the podcast right now? What can they do to help their patients or at least ensure safety of
Um,
their patients?
depending how old the patient may be, you can bring in coloring books, you can bring in puzzles, you can bring in just different toys depending how old the patient is. But for older people like me, we want service. We want we want visits from service dogs. We
Yeah.
want visits from service dogs. I recently was in the hospital in 2019. Well, that's not recently, but I had a uh hysterectomy because I was hemorrhaging so bad that I almost died, and I was in the hospital. What should have been only a day ended up being a 45-day stay. And just laying in that bed doing nothing just tore my mind up. So so get so per, so medical professionals, get your patients up and moving. I'm going to say it again. Get your patients up and moving, no matter what it looks like. If it looks like getting them in their chair and driving their chair around, or if they can walk, get them up and walk around. Laying in that hospital bed is going to give them pressure sores, is going to give them depression, is going to give them anxiety, wondering when they're going to be released, or are they ever going to be released, or are they going to pass away in the hospital. That is the worst feeling anybody can have, is are they going to pass away in the hospital.
Yeah, and like I I heard a story from an individual that a person or a staff member on the high unit wanted listening to them, and to me, that I've never been in that experience, so I can't speak on behalf of how that feel. But like, I can say, treat everyone with dignity, and you need to listen to them because if they are their own guardian, or if they decided to go to the hospital for help, they probably know themselves better than anyone else, right? And so I just want to point right here to just because you're providing care to an individual with a disability doesn't give you the right to dismiss them and talk to them. I mean, talk to their parent, guardian, like, well, guardian's not the right word, but it, I don't know, but my woman up here. But my thing is, my do not only talk to the person who with them because that they have the right to know what is happening in their town.
And another thing I would like to mention, um, talk to them with respect. Talk to them like they are a person. Yes, I realize we are disabled, but we are human beings and we deserve to be treated well. And by screaming and yelling at us to get our attention or for us to understand, that just makes the anxiety worse.
Yeah.
So how would you like it if you were in this patient's situation and you were getting yelled at and screamed at? You probably wouldn't like it, would you? No. So 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 treat your patients as if you were a patient and how you would want to be treated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Go ahead. Continue. Bye.
And like I said, thank goodness that I no longer have a menstrual cycle. I had a procedure to get rid of it, so I am no longer on that medication that caused those thoughts. Do I have those thoughts every now and again? Yes, we're all human. I just say nope. I'm not dealing with today. I'm not dealing with this today. You are leaving. Goodbye. Go mess with somebody else. I literally do say that. Goodbye. Go mess with somebody else's head because you ain't messing with mine.
Yeah. Um, we all want to be here and we all deserve to be here, and that's really, really, really important. And
Yes.
I think that mental health and disability isn't talked about enough. I personally would like to see it talked about more with the advocacy I'm an asthma all the time. Like, what did I do? Mental health advocacy. And honestly, I don't have any resources to tell people. So if you are somebody watching this and know like a podcast, maybe not all, but a different podcast that helps with things like mental health, I would love to know about it so that I can pass it on to others when they ask for mental health resources with a disability.
I don't want to say that mental health is is harder for disabled people because I don't know that. I don't know what I don't know what anybody goes through. Nobody knows what I go through, but I really feel that with everything we go through with our physical bodies, it it takes a toll on our mental health. I really, I really strongly believe every everything we go through, whether we endure pain 24/7, seizures, you name it. I really think that mental health is harder on the disabled community. I'm not saying that general people don't have depression because I know they do. We're all human. I'm not belittling you
Mm-hmm.
and saying you don't have it because I do know you have it. I just feel like it's harder on the disabled because of everything we endure 24/7.
And like what I hear about of the time from people and uh what and an outsider, what I hear from the people who experience things like this with the disability is there are not resources. There are a lot of resources ta- tailored to able-bodied people and women. We're not downdating what you go through, but I feel like the math resources is kind of inaccurate. I don't know if you experience anything like that, but
Experienced.
math resources.
Yes, I have experienced lack of resources. I ha- I have, and it and it and it and it as hard as it is for me to talk about this subject because I've been there. This subject needs to be talked about because there needs to be resources that so people don't get as far as suicide or as committing suicide or people don't get as far as suicidal. Maybe maybe they'll just have depression or anxiety. There needs to be resources when it comes to suicide.
Mhm.
and
And
it's and
the
it's just sorry, go ahead.
and disability too.
Yes, and disability, specifically disability when it comes to mental health. That was a very hard subject for me to talk about because I've gone through it, but like I said, I really feel like the more the more it's acknowledged, the more people will understand. Like for an example, I was in school. I told one of my teachers that I was extremely depressed and that I was suicidal. She says, "How can you be? You're smiling." I said, "Have you ever heard something called you're masking?" She says, "Honestly, no." I said, "I've learned to mask depression. I've learned to mask pain. I've learned to mask, you name it, I've learned to mask it.
Mm-hmm. And we hope this episode will help us. I'll be back on the next episode more talk. This is me, but in this episode I will be co-hosting. If you have any other mental health resources that you would like to share with the community, I'm going to ask that you please DM us, but we want do not post them down in the video comment or the podcast comment because I would like to understand it the same way. We want our viewers and followers to have the best resources possible and the most reliable. While we
And I wish everybody the best of luck. If you need help with anything whatsoever, reach out to somebody.
Mhm.
They will
Yeah.
become your best friend. I'm telling you, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, they are here to help you. And I wish I knew this when I was going through what I was going through. So that is why I'm giving this to you, because I wish I knew back then what I know now.
Mhm. Yep. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching and listening.
Thank you.